Because in the adversity, when you're not qualified and when you're not really equipped, sometimes that means, dude, that you have to be still and you got to be silent. And that's what had to happen to me. They put me in a corner office and said, be still and be silent. Otherwise, we're going to fire you. And it was through the profession that got my life back in order. That's all I had left. I lost everything else. Kids didn't want anything to do with me. I was going through a divorce. I had no friends. And the charade was out. And people in the industry that saw me as Mr. Motivator, they heard the stories and were like, I never would have thought. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus said that character could be your fate. Robert Greene on Jordan Paris's podcast, he added to that. He said, character could be your fate, but it can be your destiny also. And it really got me to thinking about that. In times of adversity, it can be your fate where it utterly destroys you. Or it could be your destiny where you rise to the occasion. And it's in those times of adversity, you're not made, dude. You're revealed. You're revealed because in the times of adversity, do you lash out and do you selfishly go for yours? Or do you look at the seeming destruction on the horizon and you say, it looks bad, but I'm going to figure this thing out. Let's go. Time to play the game. And adversity has revealed me, man, in the good and the bad, to the part where I've been utterly destroyed, but I've risen to the occasion too. I was almost destroyed in the sense that I was living a double life, man. I was living with these masks on and made it look like that I had it going on, made it look like that I was happy, made it look like that everything was good, when I was really living a whole bunch of lies. And I was dying inside. And life has a strange way of letting you play the game a little while. And she'll let you play the game and she says, okay. And she'll bring a wave of adversity around and you, like I did, I chose to ignore it. And what I did is I just added another mask. And sometimes I would get nipped by the flames. I wouldn't get consumed by it. But life has a funny way that it says, okay, I'll be back around. And adversity kept coming back around until like round, 42, 43, man. She came back around and I couldn't sustain it anymore. I couldn't live the double life. I could no longer maintain the mask. And it almost destroyed me. As a matter of fact, there were many times that I wanted it to destroy me. I was too cowardly to destroy myself. So I wanted it to look like that I was destroyed. Because I didn't want to be exposed. But I've risen to the occasion too. I've risen to the occasion where I lost two managers, two good, seasoned, veteran managers. They both called me and said they quit. And so here I was on the front end of the store running the front end by myself. I had two finance managers in the back. But as far as to work deals and get deals to the back, I was by myself. And my team rallied around and we put up a record that has not been broken to this day. So I've risen to the occasion as well. I've seen both sides. Fate and destiny. And it makes me want to ask you the question, do you believe that character can be lost? And do you believe that character can be repaired? And I think so, man. I've heard many people say that, your character and you'll never get it back, or this is what you are always. And I disagree with that. I disagree with that thought, because I think you can lose the character if it's that destiny kind of character. But also I think that you can repair it too when you've been an utter fraud, a POS. And I think you can repair it. Because in the adversity, in the fate, in the destruction, man, as bad as I wanted to maintain the lies, adversity said, nope, time's up. And adversity had me pinned down so much so that she says, if I let you up, you've got a choice to make. If you get up, I'm going to destroy you. You're going to die. Or I'll let you up, and you can take the long process to repair your life and get yourself right. Because you're an utter fraud. So I had the choice to make, death or change. I guess you know the decision because I'm talking to you right now. But I didn't want the change because I didn't want the exposure. But that's what has to happen. Real change, man, has to completely strip you. And for me, man, I had to start all over. And the first part of me starting over was not to build anything on a lie. And so the very first test that I had was when people came back and asked me, what are you doing back here in this office? What are you doing working finance? First thing I said is, I got demoted. No more story. There's nothing I had to maintain. And it was that was kind of a revelation for me, man. Because even as a kid, man, I would lie to get my way, to not get in trouble. And sometimes, man, you stay a kid for the rest of your life. It's just the lies have more consequences and they get more costly. And they can almost cost your life. So I didn't want to start over, but I had to. Because I knew the only other choice was to be destroyed. And so I had to take the long walk back. I could no longer be Mr. Fix-It, Mr. Marsh has it going on, Mr. Tell me the meetings were right on point. Tell me, this was perfect, dude. Like I've said before, man, I could put all the commas in the right place. I could drum up the emotions. I could get you fired up. But dude, I was an utter fraud. So I had to be stripped down, and now just Marsh. That's it. So I think it can be repaired. But I think it can be lost also. I think it can be lost in the sense that, and I speak firsthand with that, because when I put up the record, you can add to the story. And sometimes when the adversity, when we triumph it, when we were ready for it, when it swooped in, and we had the one thing about it is your character, it's revealed, but it's all the workings for many, many years that's been going on. So it's not like suddenly you can be this totally different person. I think many times you can rise to the occasion. Now, depending on the severity too, I think you can mask it. I think you can put some layers in there. But when you add the layers, man, you have to understand. If you're a fraud, if you're FOS, man, you're only going to make the situation worse. So in the times that I rose to the occasion, that time when we put up the record, that was one of the first things that came to mind for me, that I rose to the occasion. Sometimes, man, and this is where you got to be careful, where you could lose it, because if you build up this false narrative, it could make you walk around thinking that you're indestructible, and this is where you can start blurring the lines and kind of go off the feeder road. I say all this, that character can be fate or your destiny, because adversity, either right now or it's coming, is going to lean on you hard. and you're going to be revealed. And is it going to be fate or is it going to be destiny? And if you're in the moment, then you've got to ask yourself, am I qualified for the adversity I'm facing? Am I equipped for it? Or is all this just another charade? In other words, is the track that I'm on right now, am I heading, is it going to utterly lead to destruction because I'm underqualified and I'm not really prepared for it? Just people think I am. And if you have those kind of moments, man, let me caution you. You got to pivot in the adversity. And sometimes it may mean that you have to back up a little bit and redevelop some skills or get some skills and really acknowledge that you're not really qualified. And that's a hard thing. See, I wasn't man enough to be, to pivot. I'd have somebody do it for me through the demotion. Because in the adversity, when you're not qualified and when you're not really equipped, sometimes that means, dude, that you have to be still and you got to be silent. And that's what had to happen to me. They put me in a corner office and said, be still and be silent. Otherwise, we're going to fire you. And it was through the profession that got my life back in order. That's all I had left. I lost everything else. Kids didn't want anything to do with me. I was going through a divorce. I had no friends. And the charade was out. And people in the industry that saw me as Mr. Motivator, they heard the stories and were like, I never would have thought. So sometimes in the adversity, man, you got to sit still and you got to be silent, or you got to be forced to do so. And then this is where you can fix the loose connections. And let me tell you something, dude, it's not going to be overnight. You didn't build these layers overnight and adding to the layers. And that's what I thought too. If I add to the layers, man, the more layers I add to it and put more story, more narrative on there, then what that'll do is it'll push the old stories down. And no, that's not going to happen. And it may mean too that in the stillness, in the solitude, it may mean that you're disabled for a little while. And it looks like it's a setback. It's not. It's really just therapy and preparation for your destiny. Because one thing is certain, adversity will come back around. And even if it gets by you the first time, don't think that she won't be back. She will. But when she comes back, she's going to be even stronger. She'll be stronger if you're on track for fate. And she may not look as strong if you're heading toward destiny. So even when the adverse times come and you didn't handle it well the first time or the last time, because you were silent, because you started working on your pivot points and really stripped the masks and got honest with yourself and said, I don't want to be destroyed. When adversity comes back around, and it will, you'll be ready for it. You'll be in your destiny. Remember, never settle. Keep selling your way through life no matter what. Stay amazing. Stay in the sales life.